Right, guys, I am showing you the worst part of Warrington. I won't say a bad part, but definitely it is. It is very tiny houses, and it is, you can call it worst part of it. If you compare with other areas, still it's a nice area, nice people live here. I'm just talking about the structure, the houses, the affordability, those kind of things. Not about the peoples. So you can see the houses, how tiny the streets are. This is poor part of Britain. Many people won't believe this is Britain as well. These are all houses. See how tiny they are. I will show you a few of them so you have idea now. The houses where you cannot buy in London, like 50 million, 60 million, even 250 million. And there are some places in Liverpool where a few houses were sold in auction for £1. Probably they need a lot of work, and the houses were really bad, or bad areas as well. So there are good and bad areas in Britain as well, like any other country of the world. I will drive around in these areas, in these streets, so you get idea of the houses and people's issues of parking. So you can see these housing estates for miles. The houses nearly closer to each other. So this is probably the poorest part of Cheshire County. Not everybody is poor. Some people, even some doctors may be living here. Some people are really rich. They got their family home, so they don't want to move because they got all their friends and mates around. That is very important as well for some people. Next time I will show you similar areas of Salford and Manchester. That is definitely like real poor areas. There are parts of Liverpool as well, which some people even won't believe that you are in Europe. But believe me, this is nothing with compared to poverty and worst areas in America. In America, if you leave the main roads, go in back alleyways, back streets, they are really, really poor, extremely poor, because in UK and many other countries of Europe, medical and education is free. Housing, the council or government have to provide a house. In America, it isn't. So people have to afford for their medical. I have seen people in America waiting for their surgery, for serious surgeries for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. people extracting their own teeth. People sitting in the cities with the large tumors in their stomach. And you won't believe that is America. But you won't see that much poverty especially in Britain. You might be able to see some parts of Italy, Romania, Bulgaria, Poland, those new European countries, new European members. And with compared to that, there's a part of Manchester, Liverpool, Glasgow, Birmingham, London. Smaller the cities are, better the living is, the richer the people are. And in Britain it's opposite with compared to many other parts of the world. Villages are more expensive. Properties in villages are twice expensive than cities, because all the rich people, they want to live in villages or just outside the cities, away from these kind of council estates. Let's go left this time. I will show you back of these houses as well. Many cars parked here because it's evening, 6:30, so everybody home from work. So that's the reason streets are full of cars. Daytime, there will be plenty of spaces. See, that is back alleyway of them. See that there's a car park, otherwise I would have driven to that way. So we go to the other street. Let's have a look at the next street. It's not only one street, it's an area. It's a complete area of similar kind of houses. This area is called Letchford, part of Warrington, Northwest England. Some streets are reasonable, some aren't, so it is still mixed. Hello everyone. As you all know, UK is one of the richest countries in the world. But no, stop it there. Not everybody is rich. I have shown you one of the best parts in my town, in London, in many other towns. Today, I'm going to show you the poorest part in our town. So there are parts where poverty, you can see it. Mostly these are social housing or council housing. Social or council housing means people who don't work or who can't work. So council or city council have to provide them a house. And usually those houses are smaller, poor in quality. And of course, in that area has to be, you can't compare that area with the private accommodation where private residents are. So stay with me and I'm showing you one of those areas today. Okay? Enjoy. Plenty of these speed bumps, we call them speed bumps here in Pakistan, India, they called speed breaker. Weather is really good, just had raining or heavy raining. Can't go in that street, that's one way. And you can see this one as well. That's a garage in that street, but these are some that kind of different type of houses or back alleyways, back streets. Believe me, I am here in these streets first time. Few of them. I've been to few of these streets earlier, or just went past, but exploring for you. That's I'm doing. All the bins, you can see the different color of bins. You may surprise the different color of bins. Why they are different colors? The grey bin is for household waste, kitchen waste, household, all those kind of. The blue bin is recycled, which is bottles, cans, paper, cardboards, those kind of things. And there is a green bin as well, which is for grass and branches and garden stuff. The blue and grey bins are part of your council tax, or called property tax in different part of the world. We call it council tax. So every house pays. These houses still pay. If they own a house or rent a house, then they pay council tax, which is around, I would say, around £100 a month. Councils make a lot of money. That goes to the local councils, and councils collect that tax. That tax doesn't go to central government. That stay within your town or your city, and that's spent on roads, streets, education, policing, because all these departments are under local councils. Council deal with police, with schooling, with local health as well, street lighting, except highways. Highways is still under federal government. So that's a green bin there. Green bin is have to pay extra. That is extra like £40 a month. So see, you can see the houses little bit different style here. So that means these are private houses. These are not council houses. No, sorry. These are council houses as well. When you see the houses, long lane of houses joined together, they are council houses. Some peoples may have bought it because in the past, people could buy their council house if they live there for 10-15 years. After that, they would buy discounted. Councils would sell those houses so these people won't live on rent. But what happened in London or other parts, all the Pakistanis, Indians, Bengalis or Caribbean guys, they bought those houses, put it on rent, and then applied for another one or moved to another one. So not only them, some white peoples will do it, everybody will. Whoever get a chance, they will do it as well. So I won't blame one community. These things happen, yeah. Like some people got their own property and they won't tell the government that we got a property and still claim a house, and when they get a house, they will put their own property on rent and don't tell that money to council tax, to the taxman. So like anywhere in the world, but it's little. These things happens, but not on a wide circle. It's a little bit happens, like in everywhere in the world. Because taxman is very clever. They will find how and where people's hiding their money. That's called Surrey Street. Surrey is a county. That's the back street. I will show you. Back street for these houses, but there are houses here in this street as well. Now you got the idea of council housing, social housing, what they call in America or Canada. So as soon as you are on the main road, you will see the different of standard and different of the street structure, everything. That I show you the one of the biggest street in this in this area. And then probably this trip will be completed. Let me check, where am I? Am I at the right street? No, it's not this one. I should go on the main road and then come back into the next street. Yeah, I am in that street now. This is a bit long street. Houses and the tiny streets on the both ends. That's quite an old church here, and quite big. On my left. Yeah, it's quite a big church. City councils, all town councils, they are updating these areas now. They are spending money on these areas now. Putting new windows, new doors, new heating systems, if they are council tenants. But if they have bought that property, like these houses on the right, they are private houses because they are different style. So then they have to do it themselves. Then council not responsible. And there's beautiful flowers as well. Very nice. Nice big flowers. Yeah, this street is a bit better. No, definitely you can compare the video I made earlier last month about Sankey, Warrington, West Warrington, Great Sankey, which is written on the top. You can view that, you can watch that video and compare with this, and then you would understand the difference. So many speed bumps. Another one, and another one. Hope you got the idea of social housing now in England. And remember, the housing style is different almost with every city. I will take you to Liverpool next time and you will surprise. The house style and design is completely different with compared to Warrington, and it's only 20 miles away. Similarly, when we go to Manchester, you will see the house style is completely different. In Scotland, it's different. When you go to cities like Bradford, Leeds, more houses are stone built, not the bricks. So we'll be back to main road. Alright, you take care and hope you like it. Yes, this is housing area as well. Definitely will surprise you. Look how tiny these houses are right in front. So small. There must be one bed or two bed, but we call them bungalows. All the single floor, we call them bungalows here. Look at how small they are. Streets I want to fill, and then definitely I will go home and finish this video, so you will have a better idea now when you come to England, if you're buying a house, where to buy, where to live, and where not to buy, so you will have that idea. Let's see if one of them will let me go. Right, so let's have a look at this street as well. Yes, she got Audi, but why driving in this area? I am driving for different purpose. You can see the houses. Some are houses, some are apartments. I don't know why they made it this awkward type of design, but don't know, maybe 70, 80 years ago. These are all quite old. Let's check the landlords of next street. Ask them how they're doing. Oh, that's two old ladies having a nice evening chat. These house design are slightly different with this street before. Maybe these ones were built 1940s or 30s, I think. That's a primary school here. And that's woods on the left. We call it woods. We don't call forest here. Yeah, I call forest as well, but people prefer, especially older people, they prefer to call woods. So these are woods on the left. That's probably the last street I will drive in, and then we go home. That's right in front of that primary school. So not bad, the trip completed. And next time I will show you the worst part of Manchester, Salford, and then sometime Liverpool. Alright, take care, see you, bye. This is another example of poverty, smaller house, council, social housing. It's Queen's Platinum Jubilee was last week, so that's, you can see some flags around. She's Queen from last 75 years now. And looks like she's gonna complete 100 years. I don't think Prince Charles got any chance. See, this is clear example of these terraced. We call them terraced housing. These are definitely built in 1910, 1920s. They're comfortable houses, but although smaller in size. And all these houses got small gardens in the back. So if you have a look, these are the few terraced houses. So let me turn a little bit so you can see it all. So these are the terraced houses. These are most of them are council houses given to people who are on less income or no income at all. So you can see it. I will show you the other side so you can compare with them. We call them terraced houses, the houses which are joined together. So these because when councils have to provide a free house to somebody, they will try to build as smallest as possible, and because in UK there is shortage of land, or there is no land, so they have to build it as small as possible, and they have to fit as many as houses as possible. So you can see these areas being developed now. There is some development work going on, but still you would be able to see it. So that is one. show you that street because some construction work going on, or they are updating the properties. So let's check a few of them. See that this street is an exact example of that, what I just said. In major cities like Liverpool or Manchester, even condition will be even worse than this town, because this is a bit smaller town. So there are still houses available for people on low income or no income. But in large cities, things are even difficult. Houses are really tiny, in very poor conditions. You would be able to see I won't say peoples are different, it's the same peoples, good or bad everywhere, but usually because council housing has much higher crime rate than the other parts. So that's one reason if somebody living in a council area, their car insurance or home insurance will be really sky high, because it will be considered more risky area. So you can see these are apartment buildings. Yeah, still you will consider still they can get a house. Still people can get a house. Still people will have a roof over their heads. That is good thing. You can see these two buildings. These are two like apartment buildings. So usually when children grow up, when they're over 16, especially in I'm not discriminating, but especially in white families, parents expect their children to leave home as soon as they are 16 or 17. And if they don't go or don't leave, even parents start asking them, when you leaving, when you going. That doesn't happen in Asian families, because Asian families, children usually stay with the parents till they get married or till they buy or get their own property. It's more of a cultural thing. It's not a discrimination. And usually when those youngs, when they've been kicked out from their home by their parents, they go to city councils and apply housing. And because they are young, so they are not on priority. Priority is given to those families with children or with young children, peoples with disability, soldiers, veterans, soldiers back from war or retired or something, if they don't have any other income. So they get priority list. So that is another reason for one sad thing, which is underage pregnancy, which is highest in Europe, because as soon as a girl is pregnant, they get priority in housing list. Not everybody, but there are a few which will use this loophole or try to play with that system. So that happen as well when there is law like that. So you can see all these housing, quality of them. It's quite sunny day today. It was raining earlier, so hope I can catch a few. Hamza always told me make a video in the evening after 5 p.m. But I was in this area, just driving past this area. So I decided I should make a small video now so I don't have to come back here. But looks like I may have to come back because sunlight coming right on the top. And see all these areas, you can see that. Don't need to tell you. This is possibly you can say the poorest neighbourhood in Warrington, in our town. You can find many times worse in large cities. It's in London as well, in London, in Manchester, Birmingham, all these cities. There are some areas where there are large council estates built in 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and provided free accommodation to people. Still, it's been offered. Depends on their needs and their priority. So I just want to show you the difference. This street on the left, this is private street. This is built by a private builder. So these are council estates again, but different in style. But still, these are council areas. So usually when you're spending money, when you're buying your own property, you try to find something which is far away from council estates, because you would know further you go from council estates, better your property value will be, better the area will be. I know I haven't uploaded a video for many days, so I'm doing it from today, coming back to my routine. This is the main road, but this is all council areas. And still is the main road. This is nice, looks better. This is another part of our town, and you will surprise how tiny these houses are. Mostly these are again the council houses, which some part of the world they call it social housing, but this is usually considered poor areas as well. Some are nice or reasonable, but you can see the size of this one, even still bigger. I may show you some, even you will surprise, some smaller than these ones. Some of this. See how tiny these streets are. Yeah, you can see them now. Yeah, still it looks maybe in few parts of the world you may think still they are reasonable, good sized houses. But when you look about other areas, then definitely you can compare it. you find that so many cars in Britain? It's a small country, narrow roads, but because public transport is very expensive, and secondly, in Europe, not all countries, UK, the second-hand cars are really cheap. You can buy a reasonable car in between £500 to £1,000. Reason for that is because the price for new cars is static. It's almost same like 10 years ago. So if you buy a car for 20,000, 3 years time that car worth only 9 to 10,000. 5 years time it will be like 5 to 6,000 value. So that's another reason that everybody they can afford a car as well. And second is the weather, because in winter most of the time it's raining, so you need your own car instead of depending on public transport. Yes, in Britain it's not like America people love long driving, or in Canada as well. People can drive up to 1,000 kilometers or 2,000 kilometers. Not in Britain. Here mostly people will drive within their town or maybe next city, unless they have to go for work. Otherwise they use, for intercity, people use trains, buses. So that's another reason you're seeing so many cars, some tiny houses, but so many cars. So still it's managed well. They're tiny houses, very small streets, but because every corner of the houses have a little roundabout, so still it's easy to turn back, and it's a good planning. See this just tiny roundabout, and in that section it's got like 20 houses. If these houses were built on a straight road, they might need like 3 times more area than this one. So it's still good planning. Because these social housing councils have to build, they have to use minimum land, and houses has to be smallest to keep the cost as minimum as possible. This is another example of the social housing. So have a look, these streets. These are run down housing estates. They are in better condition now, been repaired by the councils. There's so many cars around. The reason for that is because these are smaller houses, so there are so many houses in a small area. So that's the reason you will see many cars around.